What's going on, everybody? Today, we're going to talk about something that comes up quite often in my discussions with relocation buyer clientele. They're coming from a different state. Maybe they're coming here because of work, or they might be leaving family in another state. So they want to know, how close am I going to be to the nearest airport? Tampa International Airport is hands down one of the best, most elite airports in the entire nation. And it's a lot closer than you might think to all of the suburbs that surround Tampa. We're talking about Clearwater, St. Petersburg, Wesley Chapel, Lutz, Land O'Lakes. It is so close because of the way that all of the interstates and the roadways have been set up to direct it right into Tampa International Airport. So in this video, I want to focus on why Tampa is such an elite airport and not just a travel center. Secondly, I want to talk about the Tampa suburbs and how far away you can actually go into, say, Wesley Chapel, Land O'Lakes, or Lutz, and still be actually close with regards to time travel, proximity, getting to the airport, not missing your flight on time. How far away can you really go and still feel close? And then lastly, I want to give you a local hack that will help you to save money every single time you decide to go to the airport. Let me just say, personally, I have never encountered an airport that is better than Tampa International Airport. And I don't necessarily think that's just my opinion. I think it's backed up by some objective data. Check this out. Tampa International consistently ranks number one or number two among large airports for customer satisfaction in the J.D. Power North America Airport Satisfaction Study. Tampa took the top spot in 2022 and 23 and has held the number two ranking in 2024 and 2025. Now, this is not just data on small airports, because we also have an airport that's across the bridge in St. Pete, the St. Pete Clearwater Airport, a small, more regional airport. If you're taking flights that are, you need just kind of a quick, maybe not some of the main city hubs. So for instance, Tampa to Greensboro, North Carolina, about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minute flight. Very inexpensive. That regional airport over there is really super easy access across the bridge, but that's not what we're talking about when we're talking about these awards. We're talking about major, large airports across the nation. And while referring to those large airports, USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards named Tampa the best large airport in America in both 2024 and 2025. They also gave Tampa the top spot for best airport dining. Now, that's very interesting because, yes, when you're traveling, you may want to grab a meal. But I will tell you this, there are people that go to Tampa Airport surely to dine at the restaurants, not because they're traveling anywhere. Valerie and I have done that before. Not only did they give them the top spot for best airport dining for the first time in 2025, they gave the best for airport art. For art. And one of the key features at the Tampa airport is Phoebe. You see, Phoebe is a 21-foot flamingo sculpture. It's officially titled Home by its artist, Matthew Mazzotta. She's an icon. People come, get off the plane, take the selfies with Phoebe, but she is our girl here in Tampa. My name is Jeremy Rickard, and I'm the broker and owner of Excelicor Real Estate right here in Central Florida. And I've been in real estate for over 20 years. I moved to this area on purpose, and there were some things that I just didn't know. I made some mistakes along the way, and my goal is to help you not make those same mistakes. I don't want you to make a decision out of fear or anxiety. All I want to do is get you as educated as I possibly can so that you can make a really informed decision about where your next home is going to be. And then I would just ask if I could guide you through the process. So if it comes time for you to relocate or move to Tampa, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. You can contact me at the number on the screen, or you could shoot me an email at jeremy@excelicor.com. My wife really loves Phoebe. She has a special place in her heart for her. She probably would go to the airport every day to see her if she could. It's actually an amazing piece of artwork. So there's lots of other reasons besides just you're flying on a plane somewhere. I mean, there's great dining. There's great sunsets if you want to go out there and just have a time away. On that top parking deck is where you go, see the planes fly in, take a look at art with Phoebe and some of the other art that's there. But there's also great shopping. You can get Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Lightning, Tampa Bay Rays, gear there that's not just cheap stuff. It's actually really quality merchandise and gifts and those types of things. But this video is going to get more into how close some of these communities are. So let's dive in to the map. I want to show you some communities in Land O'Lakes, Lutz, and Wesley Chapel, how far away you can go. And I'm going to rank these or grade these communities as to how close they are to being able to get to the airport and utilize this great thing we call Tampa International Airport. One of the things I want to draw to your attention out of the gate is the fact that you have lots of roads that will lead to Tampa International Airport. You're going to have Veterans Expressway, which is running right here, Del Mabry, I-275, I-4, then to 275. You've got 60 that runs over here. So if we back it up, you're going to see kind of all these roads lead. Even if you're coming from St. Pete, if you're coming from Clearwater, Odessa, Wesley Chapel, Seffner, Brandon, Sun City Center, everything has got ways to come to the Tampa International Airport. So getting there from most locations is not going to be too difficult. We're going to focus in this video on the northern suburbs, which are Wesley Chapel, Land O'Lakes, and Lutz, just to give them kind of a grade. And I'm going to show you how quickly you can get to the airport. And I realize that quick is relative. So if you're coming from, say, a place like, I don't know, LA or New York, this is going to be uber fast, because you might have to go 5-10 miles and take you an hour. This is going to blow that out of the water. If you're used to getting to the airport because it's right down the street from you and it only takes you 5 or 10 minutes, this is a different story. But I think that no matter where you go in and around this area, provided you're staying where a lot of these roadways, interstates, and arteries are at, you're going to be greatly surprised at just how quick you can get to the Tampa International Airport. So in each city that we're going to look at, I selected 2 of the communities that seem to be more sought after and more searched than the others, just to give you kind of an idea as to how far you would be away. And let's just assume that you're leaving at 7 a.m. because that's really when, traffic is starting to pick up. Actually, about 6:30 is when traffic on I-275 starts to really pick up. If there are any mishaps in terms of wrecks and things of that nature, this is going to change the dynamic. But if we're looking at 7 a.m., you got to make a flight and you're getting on the road from Seven Oaks, the community up in Wesley Chapel. It's going to take you roughly 30 to 35 minutes to get there. Now that's a 26-mile drive, so it's a little bit outside of a mile a minute in order to make it from the community of Seven Oaks. Given the fact that Seven Oaks is pretty close to I-75, that's what makes it easy, because you'll see I-75 will branch off right here. I-75 will go towards the east. 275 kind of goes a little bit to the west and then south. And that's what you're going to take and ride it all the way in to the airport. Not very difficult whatsoever, because Seven Oaks is so centrally located to that main artery of I-75. For that reason, I'm going to give Seven Oaks a B+. Now, why not an A? The reason would be that it is taking over 30 minutes, and that's kind of where I'm going to set the marker at 30 minutes to get an A. I want you to be under 30 minutes, but that's the only thing that would really keep Seven Oaks from getting that A. So I'm going to give Seven Oaks a B+. Next, I want to look at Epperson. Epperson is the lagoon community that a lot of folks research and look at and move to this location for. They're doing that specifically. Seven Oaks is down here, and you can see this is quite a distance further up north and east than Seven Oaks. However, this is the newest development over between, this is State Road 54, this is State Road 52. And in the middle right here, they got the overpass road, and that's given access to I-75 directly from Epperson. So although it is significantly more north and east than Seven Oaks, its access to I-75 via overpass doesn't extend the trip time very much. You're seeing that the other one went at a base of 30. This one is starting at 35 minutes. So it's really only 5 minutes, but your mileage goes up, not quite 10 miles, but your mile per minute ratio gets in line. So because of that, I can't give it an A because it's past 30 minutes, but I'm going to give it a solid B. I'm not going to go B plus like Seven Oaks, but I'm going to go a B. It is slightly longer, but the access to overpass does make this very desirable. So you can see just how far away from the airport you could go up into the suburbs of Wesley Chapel, be at the Epperson Lagoon, and still you're under 40 minutes to get to the airport at 7 a.m. Now, in terms of distance from the airport and the length of travel in the airport, this is where things are going to get a little bit tricky with Connerton. Connerton is in Land O'Lakes, and you can see that Connerton is quite a bit north. So they're actually giving you two options. I don't know why in the world you'd want to go north to 52 to get onto the Suncoast Parkway right here, when in actuality, you want to drive south and then get on the Suncoast or Veterans right about here and go on in. You could right here either take what you needed to take to get over to the Veterans Expressway, or you could branch off into 275 and ride this down. Now, if you take this route, which is trying to give me the fastest, it's saying 35 minutes, which looks very similar to Epperson, but you do have traffic lights all down through here. So that 35 minutes, that's going to be the fastest time you would make. And you can see that it still is outside of a mile a minute ratio. Because of that, because you have to go on a road, Highway 41, and you've got to hit all these lights, I'm going to give this one a B minus. I'm not going to give it a C, but I'm going to give it a B minus for its location. Highly sought after in terms of the community, but it is a ways up there. So just note that if you are regularly using the airport for business travel or whatever, this might become quite tedious to be in Connerton. The next community I want to look at in Land O'Lakes is Bexley. Bexley is an extremely nice community, and it is sought after for what people are actually after with the type of homes that are being built there. It is newer, it's fresh, it's developing. Everything is moving out from this way in Land O'Lakes, and it's pushing out towards Odessa. So this area in here is really developing a lot with some new construction, with school systems, hospitals, shopping centers. All of that is developing. You can even see it's kind of pushing into this area right here where we used to have a lot of the greenery and things. The communities are developing. Bexley is going to be one of the fastest locations when we're talking about from Land O'Lakes. And the reason being is because it's so close to the Suncoast Parkway that leads down into the Veterans Expressway. So you can see here, same time period, we're looking at 7 o'clock in the morning. You're looking at 22 to 30 minutes. So because of that, I'm going to give Bexley a solid A. And the reason being is because you can get to the airport in under 30 minutes, and it has extremely easy access. Now, you could, I suppose, go this way on 54, turn into 56 and hit 75. That is going to extend your drive, and I don't know why you would necessarily elect to do that. You can see that time period would not be good at all. Going down Bruceby Downs, it just would not be a quality way about going to the airport. Let's move into Lutz, and let's talk about the community of Cheval. Cheval's been around for quite some time. Homes built in like the 80s and 90s, still in the 2000s maybe a little bit. But I want you to pay attention to the fact that we were up this way, much further north, and this is how good of an access Bexley was. Bexley was 22 to 30 minutes. Cheval is well south of Bexley into Lutz, and it's not too far off getting onto the Veterans. But look, we're talking about the same time period for less miles. That is just how strategically located Bexley is with regards to the Suncoast Parkway. So Bexley is just, you could go that much further north, get a new construction type house in a newer community with all the amenities, and you really don't have to succumb to all the fees that Cheval would have, which is high CDD, high HOA fees. So you could move north up here, and your commute time to the airport would be identical. But because Cheval is under 30 minutes to the airport, I'm going to give it a higher grade. But because it is a little bit off the path, and you would have to take some roads that have stoplights, I'm going to give it an A minus. The last community I want to take a look at is Willow Bend. Now, you'll notice that in the description bar here, it says Land O'Lakes. That's not the case. Google has that wrong. It is actually Lutz, but it's the Pasco County side of Lutz. If you're going into this community, you're going to pay less taxes because you're over the county line. The HOAs are not bad in Willow Bend whatsoever. It is an established community. The values there have held very strong, and it has multiple options in order to get to the airport. So you could hit 41, take that, branch it off into either Del Mabry, or you could hit 275 and take it to the airport. And you'll notice that actually you're going to be 24 to 35 minutes if you're going this direction right here. But if you remember in Cheval wasn't that much different from hitting right here and getting on to the Veterans Expressway. So this location here with just super easy access to get down on either side to go to the airport, this is actually a really solid area to view. Your fees and your price points, everything is going to be less than it would be in Cheval, but you don't have to travel that much further in order to get to the airport. So again, if you are a business person and you're needing to fly in and out of the airport all the time, your commute home after your travel, you're still looking under 30 minutes. So I don't know about you, but that to me is a close location when I have to utilize something like the Tampa International Airport on a regular basis. And then when it comes time, if that doesn't describe you as a business person needing to use it that often, when it comes time to travel, you're going to appreciate how close you actually are so that you're not having to travel a long way in order to travel a long way. And because Willow Bend is situated where it's at, I'm going to give it a grade of A, solid A. You can be at the airport in under 30 minutes, and it has multiple choices, multiple options. So maybe on one of those, 275 is really covered up with traffic. There's an accident, something like that. You're not doomed to sit in that forever. You can actually make an adjustment and go pay the toll and go down the Veterans Expressway. So thanks for hanging out to this point in the video. I told you I was going to give you a little local hack to save you some money. This right here, this long road right here, it's known as the Veterans Expressway as of right here. And then as you move north, it becomes the Suncoast Parkway. This is a toll road. However, you can go and get at any, Publix. You could go to lots of places to pick them up, but it's called a SunPass. If you get a SunPass, it's basically a prepaid toll program where you can set up your account and you could just put, $10 in there, $25, whatever you want, however often you feel like you're going to need that money in there. And it can automatically re-put money in there for you just to make sure that you've always got money. If you will get the SunPass and set up the account, use the transponder on your car, it's going to save you money. Let me give you the raw data on that. The Veterans Expressway is an all electronic tolling. It's no cash lanes, no toll booths. So if you have a SunPass, your tolls run between $1.50 and $4.25 per trip. Obviously, it's because it depends on where you get, off of this when you're utilizing it, depending upon where you go. Without a SunPass, you can get billed through toll by plate. So what that means is you can still utilize this even if you don't have a SunPass, but you're going to get billed toll by plate that will send you an invoice. And the rates are higher. They're typically $2.25 to $6.38 per trip. So let's just say you're a frequent flyer and you're making that round trip twice a month. So we have been talking in this video about business persons who might need to utilize Tampa Airport on a regular basis. You're going to be using Veterans. In nearly every instance that I've given so far, Veterans is at least an option for you to use. So if you're using this at least twice a month, with a SunPass, you might be paying around $3 each way. That's $6 a round trip, $72 a year. Without it, you could be paying $5 or more each way through toll by plate. That's $10 round trip and $120 a year. That's almost $50 in savings. And you could take that $50 and go to the airport and eat, or you could buy a Buccaneers sweatshirt, something like that. Anyway, I like saving money. Hope you like saving money. And you can pick one of these SunPasses up, at any Publix, CVS, or at sunpass.com. If you are planning on moving here, I would tell you, put that on your to-do list. Pick up a SunPass. So if you're thinking about relocating to the Tampa suburbs and airport access is on your list of priorities, reach out to me. I help people navigate this sort of thing every day. Drop a comment below. Let me know what your biggest consideration for moving to a new area really is. Is it the commute? Is it the airport? Is it the school system? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. Hit that subscribe button. Every Wednesday I come out with these new videos. My goal to help people learn the area around Tampa and the Tampa suburbs, help them to be able to make the best decision they possibly can, getting them as educated as I possibly can, and just guiding them through the process. Smash the like button if this video actually helped you at all. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.